everyone. Thank you for tuning in. This is the Cousin Connection podcast.
Come on, you gotta come in with more energy.
All right. Let's start this again, okay?
I'm gonna keep that all in though still.
Okay, fine, you can. Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to the Cousin
Connection
podcast. I'm Sarah Lee.
My name's Amir Abdullahi Harun.
You had to just do all that?
Mm-hmm.
I think every episode I'm going to use one of my different names. Sarah Lee.
I don't want to talk about my other names that I have that I used to use online, like Monkey Box.
I was thinking of that. Where did you even get that
I
from?
have no idea. You know, I was thinking,
and it was spelled Monkey Box
because Monkey Box was taken.
Oh.
And I had one like King Gore. It honestly, my
one.
old names made no sense at all. We can go back into that name.
Isn't your Xbox thing still Monkey Box?
Yeah, I still use it in a lot of places, which is kind of sad. But I was sticking with the cheesy Amir was taken. Follow me as Amir was taken on all my socials.
As if you use them.
I just realized we never put our socials into the end of any of our
we really
recordings.
Didn't.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
we'll start doing that now. So if you didn't already know, our Instagram is at Cousin Connection Pod, POD.
Isn't it? Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah,
okay,
it
I
is.
almost forgot it myself.
If you want to stalk us in real life and follow our personal pages, Amir, what's yours again?
Amir was taken. AMIR was taken.
And mine is.
What is yours?
I don't know. I change it all the time. Mine is. Give me a second. Ali, ALI, Sara, SARA, and then 2 underscores. I remember why I did that.
You should probably change that.
No, I did that because I didn't want people from work to find me. So you have to search up.
Smart.
I thought ahead.
All my work people already have mine. So
really? You let them follow you?
I don't use my socials, so it doesn't matter. Like, I don't use it like that.
I know, but like, if you ever posted anything incriminating, there goes your job.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, I'll let you start. What are we talking about today?
So for today's episode, we wanted to cover a very interesting topic, something that Amir is like super passionate about. We're going to talk about what guys do in the shower.
Oh, shit. I was like, wait, did you change what we were going to talk about? No, okay. This was inspired. Shoot, I almost clipped the mic there for a second. I was inspired by this, of course, through TikTok. I feel like there should be a whole section dedicated to things I've learned on TikTok or things that are inspired by TikTok.
I've learned so much on that app.
So, like, okay, tell me, do you ever do this? So when you're standing in the shower, first out, just make sure this is not a serious podcast. So just set your standards. Okay, when you're standing in the shower, do you ever just like let the water? Okay, I'm gonna stand up for this. Do you ever just 1 second? Do you ever just like let the water come down? Where do I put this mic? Let the water come down and like pool up in your hands. Yeah, and then you like just drop it.
Yeah.
Yo,
I do that.
People do that, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was just a guy thing because I saw it on TikTok.
No, I do that.
I looked at the comments. All the girls like, "What are you talking about?"
Oh my god,
like, that's not a thing. And then sometimes you cross your arms.
Yeah, I always do that.
You let the water pool up and then you just drop it.
Yeah.
Why do we do that in the shower?
I don't know.
It makes no sense at all.
I do a lot of like strange things. Like I have full on concerts.
Do you ever do? Oh, okay, you have concerts.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you play stuff while you're in your shower?
I do have. Okay, let me tell you.
How long do you take showers for?
You know,
anything more than 10 minutes is like.
Is this a judgment-free zone?
Maybe.
Don't you ever have those tough days where you're like, you know what? Let me just hop in the shower, and it's like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Then the water starts to get cold, and you're like, all right, it's time for me to get out.
There's sometimes you just stand, lean against the wall, let the water hit
contemplate
your back,
life.
Just contemplate life. Exactly.
And you're like, why? What am I doing with my life?
I guess I kind of transfer that over to my walks. So I used to do that in the shower, but now because I walk every day, I just do that on my walks.
You know what I do?
What?
You okay? So I have like a shower playlist where it's like just sad songs because the shower emulates the rain. God. So
do you play? I bet you Let the Rain Fall Down.
Duh. I start with that, but you know what my favorite showers? Do you have a shower song? Like the one song that you always sing in the shower?
I don't play anything in the shower. If anything, I'll play a podcast.
Come on.
I'm boring. Okay, in the
try it. If you have a concert in the shower, it's gonna change your life.
Because my showers last like 7 minutes.
It's gonna last longer if you have at least 5 songs in the rotation. That's 25 minutes,
probably,
roughly, if the songs are 5 minutes long. But You Got It Bad by Usher. In the shower? With the rain sound?
I just thought of the music video. I was like, oh, that'd be
It's
perfect,
literally
actually.
I'm recreating the music video in the shower.
Yeah, I'm too busy doing water bending in the shower.
Wait,
You ever do the water bending? Where sometimes you let the water like hit your arm in a certain way that the water shoots out your fingers, so you can like shoot out the water. Oh, shit, I pulled out my headphones doing that.
Yeah.
And the thing is like you're gonna talk about skincare.
No, I was gonna
But, like,
ask you.
Yeah,
Do you use 3-in-1 products?
I use whatever's in the shower. I'm one of those people. So like I've never bought a shower product in my life. I just use whatever's in the shower. Honestly, when Gizman moved out like a couple years ago, I was screwed for a minute there.
She took everything.
She took everything. All the nice ones that I used to like with the nice smells and everything.
Oh my goodness.
And now I'm stuck with like watered down shampoo that my mom doesn't want to get rid of.
I used to hate when my mom did that.
She still does that.
She
does it with conditioner. I'm like,
no, you
what?
can't do that with conditioner.
Exactly. It doesn't mix well.
I know.
Oh no,
You
but
need to like shake it just to like get it.
exactly. So now I'm stuck with like off-brand shampoo with like couple squirts left in it, so I have to like ration it out over time.
Let's go skincare shopping and like hair care shopping.
I'm just gonna wait till Gizman comes here and drops off a bunch of skincare stuff again. Because if you see my closet, it's a bunch of samples and like stuff that I just
Any PR packages
Yeah.
that still come here, you're
and
like,
it moisturizes.
"What?"
I use it. That's it. It doesn't.
That's all you use?
Huh?
Just
For my face?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do you use toner?
The hell is a toner?
Oh my god.
I used to have discoloration on my skin.
I
don't know
remember.
if that's it.
I
Yeah.
remember you used to
That was a weird time.
Yeah, what was that?
It was herpes, but it wasn't like herpes, because herpes is a general
Yeah.
term, but like it was a cold sore which is a type of
Oh, and it
herpes.
spread?
And it spread, I guess, because it was a cold sore on my lip, on the side of my lip. Like
It didn't look like it though.
because I
it just
hid
looked
it
like a
as much as I
rash.
could. No, at first, because essentially what happened was, so the story starts off in the morning. I wake up like, sometimes after you eat like pineapple or, back in the day when you used to have a freezy and you'd cut the little web on your lip, on your lip. So I cut that, and I don't know, I think it got infected.
Oh shoot.
Because I work with my hands a lot at work, and like maybe I touched it with some grease or something, and it got infected, and then it started to like eat away at the skin and blister up, like really bad blistering, to the point where I couldn't open my mouth. If I opened my mouth, it would open up the sores again, so I'd have to keep my mouth shut. I don't know how I even went to like the center with it sometimes, but I didn't realize this, but it was contagious in a way that like it would spread if I touched it. So I would be like washing my face and I would touch it and I would touch the rest of my face, and literally everywhere I touched on my face, pus bubbles. Oh, this is really gross.
Oh my god.
But bubbles of like pus would like build up on my face, and they would burst, and they would leave like dark skin spots on my face. I'm getting grossed out just talking about it.
Scared. You guys, I wish you could see my face right now. I'm kind of like freaking out a little bit.
But yeah, so I didn't know what was gonna happen, and I went to the mall one day, and Gizman told me to get like some type of like,
it was Kiehl's. I remember.
Yeah,
I was there with
like
you guys.
Kiehl's face
like an oil
or something like that.
Yeah.
The one bottle, it was like 100 milliliters or something, was $100.
But
and
did it work?
Yeah, I dabbed it on my face. I feel like honestly, if I left it, it probably quickened the process. But if I just left it, it would have evened out eventually. But at that point, it was bad. Like, because I had a little bit of hair on my face, like I got a quote unquote beard. It's like a fake beard. It's like really raggedy. But at least it covered up what I did have at the time. But if I fully shaved off my face, it would look all discolored, and like I look like Charlemagne on his early days. Remember when he had like?
Oh my god! Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
That.
So. That was a weird time, and I was scared that it was gonna be forever, but eventually it went away. But it was just confusing. I was like, I don't know why I have pus growing all over my face. I had to like wash my pillow every night. It was gross, and I think I didn't even use like my regular pillow. I put like towels over it, and I would wash the towel. So
yeah, because if you're like rolling over,
exactly. Because at first I didn't know that, so I was sleeping with it, and I would get it. I would wear. I think I wore like. Oh no, I didn't even wear a thing. I had to put like Vaseline over my face.
That's it?
Over my
You
cut.
didn't buy like the cold sore medication, the cream?
No.
Did you not know what it was?
I didn't know what it was. I thought it was just a cut that got infected, I thought like just putting Vaseline on it, because Vaseline's like the cure-all for the African community or any type of immigrant community. So I did that, and it didn't work. And then eventually that went away, but the discoloration was still there. I don't know what I did to get it away. I think maybe I went to the doctor and they gave me something. So maybe I did actually use a steroid or some type of cream to clean it up. Because I think that's when I found out it was a herpes. Yeah, my brain is just putting it together now. I did go to the doctor, and they did give me a cream for it, so I did have something for it. Mask probably would have helped at that point. I wish I could have just worn a mask and it would have been like publicly.
This was so long ago, right? I remember this, but like it feels like a long time ago.
Yeah, it was probably like a couple years ago now, or
so
no,
that
more
was
than
the
a couple
last
years,
time.
honestly, like 4 years ago now.
That was the last time you had a skincare routine.
Yeah, basically. So now all I do is when I wake up in the morning, I'll wash my face and I'll put on like
with what?
Water. What else do you use to wash your face?
That's it?
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about like.
Do you ever use soap? Like
soap?
Like, do you use anything on your face?
No.
Have you ever washed your face with soap?
When Gizmo was here. when she was telling me what to do.
Oh my God.
There was a time where I was like really into it, and I would ask her, okay, when do I use this? When do I use this? When do I do that? And I was like, you got bored of it.
You had a multiple step skincare routine?
Yeah, and I just gave up on it because it was too many steps, man. You had to do it in the morning and at night.
Yeah.
Nah, nobody's got time for that, man.
What do you mean? It's like literally you master how to do those steps in like a couple of seconds.
It doesn't take a couple of seconds.
Okay, it's like
you gotta let it set.
Max 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
You have 5 minutes.
5 minutes feels like a lifetime when you're just focused on like.
But it's
putting
like
stuff on
it's like
your
a
face.
moment. Like it's just like I don't know. I really enjoy the process.
It is not for me. My skin is fine though.
That's why I'm mad. Because you don't do anything.
Do you think like maybe doing your stuff to your face initially kind of makes it reliant on that? Like, I noticed a lot of guys who never touch their skin are perfectly fine. But actually, no, I guess it goes both ways. Like, there are a lot of guys who have uneven skin. There's a lot of girls who have uneven skin. So it not
depends.
Really, yeah, I don't think it really depends on what you put on your face.
Sometimes it is. Like, sometimes your skin does become reliant because now, like, I mean, I've always had like combination skin where like some parts were dry, some parts were more oily.
Yeah.
So if I was to like shower or wash my face, if I didn't put on moisturizer on my face and the rest of my body in like 2.5 seconds after exiting the shower, it'll literally, my skin will feel like it'll tighten up and get super dry, which is weird. And it's so uncomfortable, especially in the winter. It's not as bad in the summer because there's like...
My face has actually, it never gets dry. It's the rest of my body that gets dry. Because I have eczema. So, like, I have to put on cream on my hands and stuff. And, like, thankfully, now it's not as bad as it used to be. That's pretty good. Yeah, because I've been putting cream on it all the time, right? Like, I have that eczema cream.
Go like this?
Huh?
Go like this.
Oh, no, that's callus. Callus is different.
Oh.
Callus that's forever. I'm
so it's not going to go away?
Well, eventually it will go away, but I'm always going to work out. So it's always going to be there.
Can't you just, like, sand it down with, like, a nail file?
I used to use a razor blade, and I'll cut it off my hands. No, razor blades work, man. You cut it off, it comes flat, and it's perfectly fine.
Why the hell would you do that? You
guys,
just cut off your
there's
skin?
a pro tip right there. If you have callus, use a razor blade.
Don't you bleed?
If you cut too deep, yeah. But you should be fine. Don't worry. This is nothing too crazy. So, like, literally a few minutes before we started recording, we were talking about, like, I don't know. I just randomly brought this up. It was a random thought I had. But do you remember in elementary school, for some strange reason, every project we had to do had to come with a brochure? Why did we make brochures in elementary school? It made no sense at all. I have never touched a brochure or looked at a brochure.
Really?
Okay, maybe like the maps and stuff, but like, why was that a skill that we needed in school?
They taught us a lot of things that we actually didn't need to.
Yeah, but like brochures, like, why was that the medium that they wanted us to learn how to do certain things?
I've done so many brochers.
Yeah,
and I would work hard on them too.
Major part of school.
I know.
And then you just completely forget about it. Like, it never comes up again. You never had to make a brochure in high school, in university.
No.
And like, I don't know.
I wish we did more papers in like elementary school, like actually write out essays and stuff.
Essay? Oh yeah, didn't we write essays in elementary school? Maybe that was our essay. Actually, I'm putting it together now.
What are you talking about?
Okay. Brochures.
Or the summary of the essay?
Brochures are basically like essays put into like a visual format. Because think about it, like brochures had the front page, which gave you like the main intro of what you were talking about, maybe even a thesis, like the thesis in an essay, and then it would be broken down into different pages of the different paragraphs to like, you know, make your arguments, and then the back of it had like your conclusions. Maybe that was their way of building. You know, I'm trying to find reason. Yeah, I'm trying to find a reason they made us do these brochures, but ultimately there was no reason for it. I feel like there was probably a better way of teaching us how to put together a project of some sort.
Teaching us like how to summarize information, like to take a broad topic and summarize it into small points.
Yeah, I wonder what they do now in schools though, because I feel like the all paper stuff is kind of out the window, especially with the online schools at this point. Like
PowerPoints, maybe? I don't know. Do they still do PowerPoints?
Oh, PowerPoints were a thing, weren't they?
Or like there was this one thing that a lot of kids started using in university.
Mm-hmm.
What's it called? Like Deck? What was it called? Some kind of cool like website where it like moves. It's like a moving slideshow. I can't remember.
This is what kids are using these days?
Well, it was like when I was like in my last year of school. That's what they were. And I was like, what is that? That's cool.
How do you think things are going to change? Like there are a lot of kids who like now their whole school experience started online, if that makes sense. Like I wonder what that transition is going to be like coming back, even for people not only in school but from work. Like, do you want to go back to work now to work in an office 5 days a week?
Hell no.
No, right? Do you think they're going to make you guys come back to the office?
I think now that we have proved that we can still be a productive team at home for the last year now.
Yeah.
I think they're going to make it mandatory for us to be there on certain days for like meetings and stuff.
Yeah. But they can do, they know they can do those meetings online.
I know, but it's like the hassle of like, what if some people choose to come into work? And then they're going to have to do like
everybody feel like they're even or whatever?
Yeah. So they might have like, cause that's what my manager was saying. Like, we might have like some days where it's mandatory to come in, which I feel like they're going to do Friday and Monday because like, you know,
because they like to
torture us
people like that.
Exactly. But like you could probably pick like she was saying, but like I don't know. I really don't know. They might, who knows what they're going to do. Yeah,
I feel like just because my job it's so hands-on, they're going to try and get us to come back in 5 days a week. But honestly, like we've gotten so used to this process of working. We realize that you don't actually need a physical office to do a lot of the jobs that we do. And you can work almost even more efficiently when you don't have to be in an office all day. Because the thing is that driving into the office is a whole job.
Commuting in itself takes out so much of your energy. And honestly, like if you're driving, that's one thing. But if you have to take the TTC, I feel like you can milk it and be like, I don't feel safe. Exactly.
And I feel like there's an opportunity here for the government to maybe start pushing. Because, of course, there's global warming that people are worried about. And if they can reduce the amount of people that are commuting on the roads, they can spin that away saying, oh, we're going to create less toxins in the air with less cars on the road. But
I feel like there are more cars on the road because no one like the buses and stuff are empty, aren't they?
Yeah, no one wants to take the TTC.
Yeah, they're scared.
And the TTC makes money for the city, right? So I guess maybe they will be more incentivized to tell people to start going back to the office. But like after 2 years, almost 2 years, or well, it's been a year.
A year now.
A year of, I don't know why I keep saying 2 years. It's more than a year of getting used to this process and people realizing how little they really need a physical office. I don't know exactly. There's going to be a lot of issues they think are going to be brought up when everybody's fully vaccinated, when everybody's kind of safe to go back.
Yeah.
Which I still don't think that's going to happen until like 2022.
Yeah,
what year are we in?
2021.
Exactly. 2022. I feel like it's not going to be 100% back to normal until 2022.
No, normal?
Yeah.
Probably 2023. Like normal where we don't have to wear masks
and
like everything's open.
No, because there's a lot of examples of places, even like right now in America.
Or Texas.
Yeah, where people are back to normal 100%. Texas. Like there's this whole propaganda out there going like, oh, they're going to try and keep control and, keep people somewhat like in a way that they can control where they're going and what they're doing. But we've seen multiple examples now where people are going back to exactly how it was before in places in Southern America where they probably shouldn't be back to normal just due to the numbers that they're seeing.
Exactly.
But in other places in the world like China or Korea or New Zealand. And those places are perfectly fine. They're having concerts right now. They're
That's crazy.
working. Honestly, maybe we should look into what they're doing when it comes to
But they were
remote
so
working.
strict. Oh, remote working?
Yeah, like because a lot of the times, especially in America, I know I bring up America a lot, but they're a larger population. We're so connected to those people down there in the south or south of our border,
Yeah.
where like they always say, there's no correlation between the restrictions and the amount of COVID cases we're getting. It's all because it's flu season and all that stuff. And that has something to do with it. But then you look at other countries around the world and you see examples of them having strict restrictions, going back to making sure that they're having no cases, taking the proper precautions, and then they're able to open up 100% with no issues. And for a lot of the, I guess, issues that they have, they can easily look at other places around the world for their answers, like healthcare. Like right now, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say,
Mm-hmm.
it's because they're obedient. They have an obedient population.
America?
No.
Oh, the other places.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's because of that. I don't want to say the First Amendment. I'm not going to say freedom of speech is a good thing. It allows.
No, but the reason why they're not obedient in North America is because they didn't have strict guidelines from day one. They were kind of like, okay, we're going to do a lockdown, I guess.
Oh, so
okay,
you're talking specifically about COVID. Okay.
Yeah, like I think you should like implement masks now, like 3 weeks after the virus was like rampant in the country. So, and how long have we been on a lockdown? It's been a whole year. Like things haven't really changed.
Yeah.
So now every time they're like red zone, gray zone, whatever that even means.
No, it's all bull.
We're tired of it. Like, so people are just over it now. Like they're like, we still follow the rules or you try your best to, but there are people who just don't care anymore. And
it's fatigue. People are just tired.
Yeah. Like what have we seen? Like what outcome have we seen so far?
Yeah. And it's because they weren't as strict as other countries could have been. Like, though they say that they didn't get the information, they didn't know all the information right away. Once they know all the information, once they made it public, they should have followed suit with those other countries. And
maybe they just didn't want to seem like they didn't want to be dramatic about it, but like you should have been.
But they had the opportunity, because at that point, even the people who are now like fully against this whole restriction or COVID in general, at that point they could have at least taken advantage of their ignorance of the virus, because at that point everybody was still scared. They thought it was like fully deadly. They didn't realize how like there was still it wasn't as deadly as they thought it was.
Exactly.
They could have at least taken advantage at that time where people were still scared.
Yeah.
And put in those harder restrictions and made it seem as bad as it really was. So we don't find ourselves in the situation we are now, and are more in line with the people who are currently open in other places in the world.
But like one thing that I noticed is like, if we just did a strict lockdown for like 3 weeks, maybe even a month max, I don't think we would be suffering till today, because even though they said lockdown, people were still going to work. We were flying in and out of the country as we pleased. You know what I mean? Like there wasn't really like, they should have just stopped. And I know it's hard to just stop something overnight, but like, isn't there like well,
they should have restricted the people who were able to kind of go back and forth, depending on the cases. But exactly how do you do that? What are the logistics of it? All of that. Yeah. It's kind of hard to put together in the amount of time that they had to. But yeah, that was just it's a really annoying situation. But
the coffee's wearing off.
Yeah. We're recording this late at night, guys. But
It's 9 p.m. It's not
9 p.m. Yo, for me, that's late. What are you talking about? I'm an old man.
Come on.
Okay.
Mass shootings.
Yeah. Like, did you know in this year, since the year began, America has had 102 mass shootings already?
What?
Just in the past
2
months? Weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks.
Just in the past 2 weeks, there were two major ones that made the news. There was a guy who...
The one who had a bad day?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what actually happened in that one.
He was someone who had like an issue of going to the massage parlors that had those like special happy ending massages.
He had an issue with that?
He had an addiction to it.
Okay.
And he's like, I had to get rid of the addiction, and the only way I thought I could do that is by killing everybody in those parlors, and he went to like 5 different parlors and killed everybody inside there. In total, he killed I think 10 people. 6 of them being Asian, which goes back to what we spoke to earlier on that other episode.
That's not a bad day. That's a mental illness.
That's why the cop who actually said that, he was just having a bad day, was scrutinized so much. It's because like a bad day.
That's not a bad day.
Yeah, there's something clearly going on there. And
I mean, I think he should still be held accountable, even if it's a mental illness, because like you can't just go around shooting people and then not be held accountable.
Yeah, and I think we should get away from the whole mental illness thing, because these guys should be held responsible for what they're doing, right? And then the next week, there was a guy in, I think it was Colorado, who killed 10 people in, I think, a Walmart or... yeah.
What happened with that? I briefly...
He just walked into the Walmart or whatever store this was and killed 10 people. Killed the clerk, killed customers, everything.
Why? Was it like a hate crime or...
Honestly, it doesn't matter why. It's like...
No, but like... Who just wakes up, says,
I think it was...
I'm going to go to Walmart and shoot some people.
It doesn't matter what the reason is, but the issue is that this happens all the time in America and they don't do anything about it. There's all this talk that happens at the time. And it goes back to like, even if we're talking about any issues that are brought up that involve either guns or black rights, they're always like, not now. This is not how you do it. This is not the time. After any mass shooting that goes on, the news, you can see the difference, right? You go on CNN, they're talking about, there needs to be harder restrictions on guns. And then you go to Fox News and they're saying, this is not the time to talk about it.
It's Fox News. What did you expect?
But it's like, it's annoying because it's always turned into something very political, but it's a human issue, right? Like there's a lot of, the solution is very simple, but there's so much propaganda and so much like politics that's involved in it that shouldn't be, that kind of muddies the waters and makes it a lot more of a harder issue to tackle for America in a way that, like, because the people who can make these changes, they have voters that they need to appease in a way. And a lot of these voters love their guns. They love, and they feel like, and they're hearing that propaganda from the right side saying, they're trying to take your guns. They're trying to
take away your rights,
freedoms, your right to bear arms. When really that's not the case. They're not even trying to take away anything from you. They're just trying to restrict access to it.
Exactly.
In a way. And and you can, as we were talking earlier, looking to other countries, because that's what I wanted to kind of connect it to, was you can look at like what happened in Australia. They had a mass shooting and they just banned all guns.
That was New Zealand, wasn't it?
Was it Australia or New Zealand? I think it was Australia.
In the mosque?
No.
The New Zealand shooting?
No, I'm talking about back, like, I think it was like the 80s or 70s or something like that. There was one mass shooting and the government acted right away. They banned all guns. There hasn't been a mass shooting in Australia since.
Yeah, I think I can't. One of my friends like said, I think like cops don't even carry guns. I think. Maybe
I don't believe they do actually.
They carry like batons, but like, isn't that crazy? Imagine cops don't carry guns.
I think it's just like the regular beat cops, like the cops that you see patrolling the neighborhoods, and then of course they have like the other cops, like the SWAT teams and everything that come through with guns.
Imagine Toronto police if they didn't have guns.
Oh no, that would be impossible. It's because they're dealing with the guns that are coming over from the border, from the south, or America, where everything.
How do you smuggle a gun over the border though? Like,
they'll always find a way to smuggle something over, and the Canadian and American border isn't as patrolled and protected as the like the southern border, the one between Mexico and the U.S. And if people are able to get through that border,
and they do,
guns and drugs and everything, then of course they're going to get through the Canadian border through our MP or our.
Can you just like throw
cops.
it over?
There's some places where there's no border at all. Like there's literally just a clearing of trees, and then you can just walk across. And they probably have like someone monitoring it somewhere, but I don't think it's as rigorous as what you see in the South. But
interesting.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's just what do you think? What do you think America, like, they have such a gun loving culture? Like, I don't know when they're gonna realize that, like,
I feel honestly though, like I feel like there have been initiatives to bring awareness and like to ask for the gun laws to be amended.
Mm-hmm.
Like they've been asking for that.
Okay, yeah. So
They've been asking for that. It's not something new, but for some reason, I don't know if it's the Republican. They're the ones that are for
mm-hmm.
guns, right? They just keep winning, or they keep getting their ways, and for some reason, I feel like Americans, like
Mm-hmm.
true Americans,
Yeah.
anything that seems like it's taking away their rights and free, like anything,
Mm-hmm.
they are so against it.
Do you think they're justified by that? Like, I don't know, because in America we don't have the freedom of speech.
In Canada, you
Yeah,
mean?
in Canada we don't have freedom of speech technically. Like, we can't go out on the street and say whatever we want because we have laws that like we have hate crime laws. So like
We have freedom of speech, but there's conditions to it.
then that's not freedom of speech.
I know, but
So which I feel like, so I guess my argument is, which is better, like the having the American First Amendment, Second Amendment of freedom of speech, and the right to bear arms. We've seen that what has happened when you have those in place, right? Like we see the consequences of that.
yeah.
And their argument right now is like, oh, they're gonna try and take away our rights, but it's like, but these rights are like, a lot of people are dying because you have these quote unquote rights.
Right.
So at what point do you start pulling back? At what point do you start saying, okay, maybe we're going a little too far. We're taking this a little too far because now it's being taken advantage of by people who can make money off of it, because it's all really comes down to money.
Obviously.
Like the reason that they're not putting in laws to restrict the ways of getting a gun is because probably there are a lot of gun lobbyists out there who are saying, yo, don't even think about it because we're paying your salary basically. Like a lot of these politicians are being paid on both sides.
Their sponsors are from like some of the biggest communities.
Yeah.
Sorry, not biggest, corporations.
Yeah, and
I can't remember what documentary I watched on Netflix about this. Was it the 13th? The 13th? Or 13?
it's probably brought up in any documentary that has to do with an issue coming that within America, because a lot of the issues stem from money.
Yeah.
And big companies lobbying these politicians, basically paying their salaries to put through or block anything that might mess with their money. So the final solution, I guess, is to get money out of politics. I don't know how it works.
That's
in
impossible.
Canada. Like in Canada, we had that issue where like there was conflict of interest with Doug Ford and even Rob Ford back in the day when he was alive, where they were hiring people, that family members that were in their like to do certain things for them, and paying tax money out of it.
Yeah.
And thankfully they were scrutinized about it enough to where they most likely, any other politician probably won't do the same thing. But I feel like in America it's so ingrained in their whole system that it's not even something that's really brought up, or it's not something that's really they're not really taking these guys.
Cancel culture doesn't exist in American politics.
I think that's the issue with cancel culture, is they're not canceling the right people, honestly. Like if they
No, it like literally doesn't exist in, like, look at Trump.
Well, yeah, because Trump is literally a racist. And
it doesn't exist in politics. It exists for celebrities. For some reason, they have more of a moral obligation than your friggin' president of the United States does.
Yeah.
They pride themselves on this whole concept of the land of the free.
Mm-hmm.
Are you really free though?
Yeah. So people are probably gonna hate me for saying this, but I feel like at what cost is your freedom of speech? At what cost is your like Second Amendment? Like, how many people are dying from you fighting for this right, and is it worth it? And
you know
a lot of them will say it is worth it. They're like, I don't care, until finally the only reason they'll start working to kind of maybe roll back some of these laws or these freedoms, quote unquote freedoms that they have, is when it happens to one of their family members. If
when
one of their
it
family
directly affects them.
Exactly.
But the thing is the gun laws should have been adjusted or changed or amended after the first school shooting.
Yeah.
If if kids are getting shot for no reason
Yeah.
because one person.
Sandy Hook. Wasn't that Sandy Hook where the dude literally took his mom's gun, went to her school, and killed like a bunch of children?
Sandy Hook was more recent, but there are so many other ones that happened before that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm talking about like the little kids. Like there were little kids.
Yeah. And I remember even. Do you remember like Columbine?
Oh yeah, that's the first.
That was
one.
the
That was
first
the first
one
major one
that I've heard about.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wait, people just go into school like
Mm-hmm.
what? Like that's a thing?
Yeah, I think there was someone talking about it where they were doing some class, like some class thing where the teacher was like getting their opinions or like why would you need a cell phone in class? Because you know how that's like a big thing where kids say, oh, they don't need a cell phone, and the kid wrote down, just in case there's a school shooting, I want to have some way to contact police and my parents.
Wow.
And it's like, what do you say to that? It's like, of course you can't. The reason now, like the fact that the kids have to now, their excuse for having a phone in class is because there might be a school shooting and they might need it on them.
What about the lockdown drills?
Yeah.
Have you ever done that? Like where they
Never.
literally, you haven't done a lockdown drill before?
Like for a shooting?
Yeah, they used to
No.
like in my school, they used to literally teach us. We would have drills where we would have to hide under our desks.
Never
lock the
did
door.
That. You did that?
Yeah, we couldn't because the doors would have like the glass thing, so you weren't allowed to be in front of that. Like if you were in that line of vision.
Which school was this in? The one where you guys were in Coxwell?
No, SATEC.
In SATEC?
Yeah.
SATEC was wild then. I don't know. We never had any lockdown drills like that. And I
really?
went to Birchmount. Yeah.
No, you never had a lockdown drill?
Not for where you have to go under your desk and all that.
Yeah,
Never
we had
once.
to be like away from the door, away from any windows, like. And I was like, we don't even have school shootings here like that. Like, I guess, no, we did. There was one in Danforth Tech. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Wasn't there one there?
But the difference between shootings in Canada, like I think there was that one mass shooting that happened in like New Brunswick or St. John or something, or Halifax last year or a couple years ago. But outside of that, if there is ever a quote unquote mass shooting, it's usually never directed towards killing other people. Like there was that shooting in the park, I think last year, where some kids got shot by stray bullets. I don't know if you heard about that, but it was because there were two rival gangs that were shooting at each other. But it's not like someone took a gun and intentionally went out to kill a bunch of people, random people.
The Danforth shooting.
Yeah, but it's not as often as you would see it in America,
yeah, it was like,
right?
Yeah.
But in America, it's literally happening every single day. And at what point do you be like, okay, we need to start rolling back some of these rules and laws? Because the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, was more something that was made 300 years ago. 200 years ago, at a time where it made sense that everyone should have a gun. Like you're living in a place where the police, I don't even think the police existed at the time. And you had wild animals, most likely wild animals surrounding you. And like at that point, it made more sense because you had to survive. Sometimes you had to use it for hunting and all those. And still having hunting guns makes sense. But when you have an automatic rifle in your house and a bazooka, it's like, what do you need a bazooka for? For real.
That like.
It makes no sense.
Listen, all I'm saying is America is a third world country with a Gucci belt, okay?
Yeah, that's
what they are. Because why do you need guns that people use in a war? And it's your hobby, allegedly, to collect guns.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do with these guns?
And a lot of them say, oh, it's for fun, you know? We just
but
like
what's for
shooting
fun?
guns. Exactly.
What are you shooting? What are you shooting, though? What's for fun?
They're just shooting targets, but it's like...
Go to a gun range.
But the thing is, yeah, they can do that, but also... Okay, so you're doing it for fun. So you're saying your fun, you having fun and being able to do these things are worth the amount of the kids dying from this, for the amount of random innocent people dying from this. Like
it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. And they'll say, oh, it's because you're Canadian. Like, you know, I don't know. You didn't grow up with
but
these.
like people can like... Okay, so I learned this recently, but apparently in America, anyone can buy a gun. But you need to have a license to carry the gun. Like if you're just going to keep it on your waistband.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. But like I'm sure.
No, it depends on which state you're in. There are certain states where you can go out and just buy a gun from a gun show and take it home with you, and no one has to know about it. And
You don't have to register it?
Maybe you have to register it, but at that point, if someone has some ill intention with it, and it doesn't matter because they can just go to the store and buy it, and maybe they have to register it later. But like if they already have it in their hands and they have the bullets, what is it? What's the registering process even worth at that point? If the person can the next day go out, or even that same day go out and commit whatever horrible act that he wants. So there's a complete overhaul, and it does require to have some type of cultural change with it, because guns are a huge part of their culture as well. And I can see why it's I can see why it's tempting, or it's it is cool. It is cool to shoot guns, you know?
Is it?
I've never shot one myself, but all the people that I know have said, oh, you know, it's fun. And
I feel like they think it's fun because it's like a power thing, but like, who do you have power over? Because you have a weapon.
So you're saying you never wanted to go out and shoot a gun?
No, I had no.
What?
I've never had an interest to shoot a gun.
Yeah, I truly do have an interest. Just at least try it out once. I've never even touched a gun in my life.
I'll try. Yeah, me neither. I've seen it once.
Yeah.
In high school.
Oh yeah, okay. From a police officer, right?
No, someone like brought it to school.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Should you be like exposed or something?
I mean, I didn't say who. I just said someone brought it to school.
Yeah.
They flashed it, and I was like, "Oh my god,
nah,
it's a gun!"
But
and then I ran for my life. He wasn't aiming it at me, but like there was a fight.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was using it as a sign of power, like come at me and I'll shoot you.
Yeah.
Actually, the other guy was from your school.
Of course he was.
So
that's some real Satec Birchmount beef or something.
Yeah, it was like
right
beef.
There.
It was beef, but
yeah, but it's just frustrating because every week we're hearing about these mass shootings that are going on, and
but even like, okay, I feel like America's issue is the mass shootings.
Mm-hmm.
The issue in Toronto is like people don't know how to communicate, and they solve their beef by just killing one another, the gang violence or whatever it is.
Yeah,
the gun violence, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, and I guess that's the argument that some people can make. They're like, oh, you guys have a bunch of gun restrictions and you still have shootings in your city.
Yeah.
But it's not at the same level as what's happening in America at this point.
I mean, Toronto's gun violence is like pretty bad.
Yeah, but do you walk outside being scared that you might get shot?
It depends on the area that you're in. But for the most part, no. I'm not.
Right?
Yeah.
But I feel like that's something that...
Every time I go to the States, well, depending on the state that we go to,
mm-hmm.
I have that thought in the back of my mind.
Yeah. And I don't know, maybe we should ask people who actually live there to see if they ever think about that. I feel like a lot of teenagers probably do think that way because they go to school and they're... I feel like this is such a dumb response, but they say, oh, the answer to gun violence is having more guns. But that is not the answer at all, because if you're in the middle of a mass shooting...
You're telling me you're going to just walk up and be like, don't shoot or else I'll shoot you.
But that's the issue, because let's say there's someone walks to a school, he has a gun and he's shooting people, and then everybody else has a gun too, so they pull out their guns.
They're just going to kill each other.
That's the thing, because if you don't know who the shooter is originally, there's no communication to tell you who that shooter is. So you might end up being shot by either a cop who's in the school or by another student who thinks that you're the shooter to begin with. Because these kids are just walking around with guns in their hands, pointing it around, looking for the shooter. They'll just you're setting yourself up for failure at that point.
The only time I would ever agree with that rule is if there was a mass shooting and someone else saved the day because they shot the shooter.
But how often do you hear that?
I've never heard that in my life. I've never heard that scenario.
Yeah, and maybe it does happen, but it's not as often.
I'm sure they would broadcast that.
Exactly.
Because they would use that towards their like campaign, like we should have more guns because this guy saved the day. Yeah,
but it still doesn't avoid issues like what happened in Sandy Hook. Like, what, you can have 5-year-olds carrying guns now?
I just that story never sat right with me. Like, how do you go into an elementary school and kill little kids? Like,
nah, that's you got to be crazy for that. Honestly, like you're, and it's always, you know how like we're Muslim.
Yeah,
we're always called terrorists. And
no, those people are terrorists.
Exactly,
those people are actually
they're never called terrorists.
No, but they actually are. I've always said this.
That's why I want to avoid every time you say it. I'm avoiding saying the word it's some mental issue.
No, they're terrorists.
Yeah, they're terrorists in a way. Like Dylan Roof, or this is Dylan Roof, the one who went into the church and killed.
He's a terrorist.
Yeah, he's a terrorist.
Straight up, he is.
Yeah, and
And for some reason, the news is like so against using that term. It's
because
only
they're white.
if don't even get me started. I'm gonna get upset now.
Mm-hmm.
It's only if it's a Muslim person, it's a terrorist.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a black person, it's a gangster. It's gang
They
violence.
pull up their history from like when they were 13, and they put out one photo with their gun hands or whatever. They're like, look, he was a thug.
He had a violent
Look at him,
upbringing.
he was evil.
He had one parent, like a broken family, and this is what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's a white person, he had a bad day. He had a mental illness, and we just
literally,
have
they
to-
say he had a bad day.
let's remove the stigma of mental illnesses, guys. No, let's remove the stigma of calling white people terrorists.
Mm-hmm.
Point blank. Period.
Yeah, and it's a very frustrating situation.
I'm mad.
Now you're mad.
Yeah, let's talk about something else. I don't even want to talk about them anymore. Like, here's the thing, because I know there are good people and there are bad people in every single race.
Mm-hmm.
There are bad Muslims. There are Muslims who have extremist views, but there are white people who also have extremist views. There are black people who have extremist views, Asians, brown, Mexican, whatever race you are.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the frustrating thing is that Muslims had to work so hard to denounce the fact that not all of us are terrorists.
Mm-hmm.
We had to be like overly nice
Mm-hmm.
so that people wouldn't look at us funny.
Mm-hmm.
You had to like exaggerate yourself, like in the airport. Thankfully, like I've never been stopped, but the only time that I remember I was in the Heathrow airport, and I've heard like a lot of people have had bad experiences in that airport. They're just annoying.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember I was wearing like a denim jacket and a tank top and my hijab and whatever.
Yeah.
So the lady's like, take off your jacket through customs. And I was like, I can't. I'm wearing a short sleeve under.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, I don't care. I'm like, well, I'm not taking it off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can look if you want. Like, I opened it like this for her.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, but I'm not going to take it off.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, oh, you're not going to take it off? Okay. Come with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked at the people that I was traveling with, and they're like, where are you going? And I was like, I don't know, but I'm sorry. There's like 300 people behind me. I'm not taking off my jacket. Like, I don't care what you say. So we went into this like private room, and she's like, take off your jacket. And it was me and her. So I took it off. I'm like, okay. She pat me down, and she's like, we could have saved so much time if you had just taken off your jacket. And I said, we could have saved so much time if you didn't make me do this. But
and the thing is, she probably knew what the rules were. She knew that.
Of course she knows. Do you know how many Muslims there are in London?
Mm-hmm.
Of course she knows.
Yeah, and
maybe she's quote unquote doing her job.
Yeah.
But like, come on.
And especially when you're visibly Muslim, you feel like you have to like represent for the whole.
Even if you're
Islam.
not. I remember when Sabri and I, like my brother and I were traveling, and we have the exact same middle and last name. It's just our first name that's different.
Yeah.
But for some reason we were traveling to the States, and they like held both of us because we were traveling together.
Yeah.
So they held him for questioning for like 2 hours. And it just so happens that there's like a terrorist out there with the same middle and last name, and I think first name too.
Yeah.
Sabri at the time used to travel a lot to the States for work, and so they held him for questioning. And you know what the officer said to him?
What?
He's like, after they realized like Sabri's not a terrorist, oh, like, sorry, we have to do all this, like, it's just part of our protocol, whatever BS that they say, you know. You should probably change your name though, like, to avoid this.
What?
And Sabri's like, I'm not going to change my name, but you guys should probably change the way that you do screenings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, obviously, he's not a terrorist if he just went to the States like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And he was fine. Like, there's no red flag on his like, it was just so stupid.
It's
like,
a lot of overkill, honestly. And ironically enough, the most people who are affected by true terrorism are Muslim people.
Right?
Yeah. Because who do you think those people are attacking in those countries?
Americans are attacking Muslim people.
No, but also the true terrorists, like the people who, like Wahhabis and all them, like they're actually killing other Muslims.
I know.
Because they say, oh, they're not Muslim. But
yeah.
So like we're affected, or at least Muslims in general are affected by terrorism the most.
Yeah.
And they're also being blamed for it. So it's like you're being hit from both sides, and it's a frustrating situation to be in. And you feel like at the same time, like you have to represent the religion especially if you're not physically or what is it, visibly Muslim
Visibly
in a way.
Muslim, yeah.
So I feel like that's slowly turning. Like people are getting more open to Muslims in general, but I think that's just because of the circles that we usually hang out in, or the type of media that we ingest in ourselves. So, but honestly, I feel like in general around the world, it's still pretty bad. Like,
of course it is. I'm sure if we went to certain parts in the States, I'd probably get shot, killed, looked at, attacked, something. For sure it would happen.
Yeah, and it's kind of sad to know that like there's literally places in a place that's quote unquote called a first world country where you can't walk down the street without being either harassed or being physically assaulted in some way.
Did you see what France just did recently?
Oh, France is a whole other story.
They're banning halal meat.
They're banning halal meat?
Like, my mind is blown. They've already gotten rid of the hijab, the niqab, all of that. But to ban halal meat, are you out of your mind?
Yeah, I can't go to France anymore then, man.
Oh, we not supporting them anymore. Okay, too bad for them. But to like that is so extreme. That is so extreme.
How are they not being called out for it? Because there is this whole like, the media is against us as well, and it's even the progressive media is not really. They're not calling out all this stuff that's happening, places like France or in general in America, as much as they should be.
Right.
And they're kind of falling into that whole side of like not calling white people terrorists and all that kind of information. So it's a frustrating situation to be in, honestly. I didn't want to end it on like a very negative note.
I know, I'm like really upset. Can we talk about something a little bit more positive? Like, I don't even know what to spin it to, because now I'm like, actually, my mood is just... I had to build a 3D replica of my bedroom in grade 2. But I didn't actually do it. My mom did it.
You built a what?
A 3D replica of my bedroom. It was a project for school.
For like architecture or something?
It was art. It was
honestly,
sick.
These teachers are just making up whatever they could for projects.
No, it was pretty sick though. You want to know? I built I obviously at the time I didn't. I was in grade 2, but I built a replica of my mom's room.
Yeah.
And you know that oh my god, what is it called? Your vanity? Is it called a vanity? What's that thing with it where it has a mirror and then like drawers at the bottom? What is that called?
Yeah, it's like
it's not a vanity.
Dresser.
It's not.
No,
there's like the one with a mirror on it.
Is that a dresser?
It's not. The dresser is like the one that stands alone.
Let me pull this up.
What's the one with the mirror and then the drawers under it? What is that called again?
Mirror. I'm pulling it up right now.
It's gonna.
It's called a dresser.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
With the mirror?
I just pulled it up right now.
Hold on, I'm gonna search it up too.
Load.
What did you search?
Dresser with mirror.
No, obviously it's gonna. Oh my god, hold on. Mirror dressers. Okay, anyway, you know what I mean. Yeah.
See, I was right. It is called the dresser.
Okay. So it was so sick. I remember this.
Yeah.
I used aluminum foil as the mirror. Isn't that sick?
You thought you were so creative. You're like.
It was creative. I got it 100%.
You got 100% on that?
Of course. It was super creative.
I gotta see pictures of this.
I mean, I don't know if I still have it, but like, were you?
My favorite thing to use was paper mache.
What? You use paper mache?
Yeah, you never used paper mache?
No. Maybe
that was like a
once
part of every project. I don't know why it was so just fun, like getting your hand in like the glue and the newspapers. And like you do this cool thing where you like blow up a balloon and you put the paper mache around it, let it harden, and you pop the balloon on the inside.
Art Attack taught me that.
Yeah, that's thing. Remember Art Attack?
PVA glue with water.
Yo, he made everything look so easy, and then you do it yourself, and it looked like the crippled version of whatever he was trying to make.
Remember the salt murals?
The salt. Oh yeah, I remember that.
That was pretty sick.
That was actually a really good show. What happened to those kind of kids shows? They probably still have them, but we just don't consume them ourselves.
I don't think they do.
I feel like maybe shows are completely different now.
They're so different now, but I don't know. Did you not ever have that stress of like the night before the project was due, like forcing your parents to take you to like Walmart or like Staples to buy like Bristol board and glue and scissors to like put together?
That. Where we have to, but like I was a lazy kid, so I would do all that stuff 2 days before school, and I would like print it all out on my computer and like stick everything just like square, put
You
it
didn't
on
like
a
cut it up
different
into
color.
like nice shapes and like
Nah,
construction
man.
paper. I used to put an effort, but I worked best under pressure, so I would do it the night before.
Yeah.
And it's like that panic of like it's 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Stores close at 9, so I'm like someone has to take me to Staples, and I'm buying everything last minute. And so every September, my parents were like, "We're gonna buy you friggin' stationery." So we would buy like the big thing that was like this thick with like different color construction paper.
I remember those booklets.
Do you remember those?
Yeah.
And then like sometimes I would just buy like Bristol boards in different colors in bulk, and that way I already had it at home.
Yeah.
So when I was ready to do my like board,
You were one of those kids, man. I did not put any effort into my projects.
I used to live for Bristol boards.
But I honestly, I sucked at school. Like I think I failed science in like grade 3, and like
How? It's so easy. It's like colors and stuff.
I got an R in that class, and they literally pulled me out of class. I cried on my way home because I knew I was going to get beaten from it.
How did you fail grade 3 science?
I have no idea, but I know that like it was so bad that my teacher, you know when they give out the papers?
Yeah.
Like I didn't get mine, and I was like, oh, maybe he forgot or something.
Shoot.
And he's like, Amir, can you pull up out of class here? And I walked outside, and he gave me the paper, and I started bawling my eyes out. And I had to go to summer school. I went to summer school almost all the way through, or like for a few years in elementary school. I got stabbed in elementary school by a pencil.
Who stabbed you?
Or not elementary school, in summer school. Because summer school was like usually a lot of the problem kids, right? I was one of the problem kids, honestly. Like I was a crazy kid at the time.
Someone
like,
stabbed you in school?
Yeah, and I stabbed him back. But
What?
But like, I got stabbed in summer school because like, you know how you'd always sit in groups of 4?
Yeah.
So there was this one kid that they sat me next to, and we hated each other. Like we didn't want anything to do with each other, and I hated it because like he was the only other black kid in class too. I was like, why do we have to have that much tension?
Why would he
us,
stab you though?
But I don't know. I think we were doing something where you were doing some like arts and crafts or something for arts and crafts inspired. But like we had a bunch of pencils on the table, and I think he took like the colored pencil. Sorry, and he took one of the pencils that I wanted, so I tried to take it from him. So of course, like, I didn't like him at the time, so I thought he did it to spite me. So I took it from him, and I don't know if he like sharpened all his pencils ahead of time, but like my hand, as I was grabbing it, he grabbed another one and stabbed it. Like, you know how you're trying to like hit something on the table, like your fist on the table? He did that, but to my hand, and he got it in my hand.
Oh,
and he like broke off the tip.
I think I remember this. Let me see your hand.
No, I can't remember where it was, but I did have a scar on my hand for like the longest time.
I remember this.
Yeah, and then I took the pencil that I took from him, and I hit him with it, but it didn't like stab him properly. I think I like hit him on his arm or something. And we ended up like fighting outside of the class. And since that day, like we were just fighting every single day. I think they had to sit us on opposite sides of the room. We just did not like each other at all.
Hold up. Neither of you got like it suspended for stabbing each other? Because
we were all problem kids. So they knew something was going to blow up at some point, right?
That's messed up.
It's summer school, man.
Oh my! I went to summer school once, but not because I was repeating a class.
Why?
I was trying to get ahead.
No, you weren't.
Yeah, I took.
So you were one of those kids. We were opposite of school, man. I sucked at school.
I was in grade 10, going to grade 11, but I took grade 11 math in the summer. Good times.
You took grade 11. You're such a nerd.
I don't know why I did it. I really don't know.
You did something going to SATEC?
Yeah.
Of all schools?
And you know which school I went to? West Hill. It was me, Hanan, and Hannah. I remember.
You guys did it together?
Yeah. Me and Hannah were in the same class. And it was like the weirdest kids. Like we always were like so weirded out by everyone else. We're like, this is so weird. Like, we're the only normal ones here. But yeah, I did summer school that one time, and I told myself I would never do it again.
Yeah, I never did summer school after that either. I think I just barely got by. I actually got pretty good marks in high school, but mostly because I chose the good teachers.
I failed one class in high school. I failed chemistry, and it wasn't like a bad fail. It was like 44%, and I begged my teacher. I was like, I don't even care to take another science class. Just pass me so that I don't have a fail, so I can have 2 spares in grade 12. It was a grade 11. I don't even know why I took chemistry. Yeah. I had no interest in it, but I took it anyway. And he was so petty. He chose to fail me anyway, and so every time I saw him in the hallway after that, I just like ignored his existence, and he would always try to say hi to me, and I was like, don't speak to me. You failed me, and because of you I can't have 2 spares. So just don't talk to me. I used to hate him so much. I still do, actually.
There's always those a couple teachers where just people.
But like he like, for what reason? Like why?
It's a power dynamic, man. It's the power that they get from it.
He was
they
like,
get like a thrill out of that.
He's like, I'll think about it. Like it's 6%. I have no interest in taking science courses after this. I just don't want a failed class on my record. But he didn't care.
Yeah. Any time where someone has like power over other people, it eventually gets to them. Like there are some people, of course there are some good people out there, but eventually there are some of them that are weak, you know. They eventually find out how much power they have and they take advantage of it, and they just do things to spite others.
Some people don't deserve to be teachers. I'm just saying, like,
okay, see, we were supposed to end on a positive note, and then we go
I
on a negative note
know.
again. You know what, guys? Okay, that's gonna end. This went on a little long,
It
but we're gonna end the podcast there.
Let's hope for a more positive topic next time.
Yeah. Exactly. We'll work on our topics. You know, we're still getting used to this podcasting thing. But my name's Amir.
My name is Sarah Lee.
And you just listened to the Cousin Connection podcast. Oh, and follow us at the Cousin Connection pod on Instagram. You can follow me at Amir Was Taken on Instagram.
You can follow me at Ali Sarah.
I need to make that a little easier. Okay, well, she'll work on that. She'll work on that.
Let me finish it's really easy.
Okay, what is it?
ALISRA.
You can't even say your own name. This is what happens when you record like late at night.
The coffee has worn off. I'm blaming that. It's ALISARA 2_. That's it.
Yeah, and hopefully you found some of the stuff we talk about entertaining, and
hit us up in our DMs, not our personal ones, in the Cousin Connection pod. Let us know what you want to hear from us. You know, we're open to talking about literally anything.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, that's that.
Okay, guys. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.
See you later. Bye-bye.